everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer. Today we're gonna play with some Charlotte Tilbury. Now I already have a full face of Charlotte Tilbury on. I'll put all the details down below. Some of you have asked me about the shades that I wear in the foundation. A couple things to mention. I only use the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder foundation. It's the only foundation of hers that I really like. And I have it in 3 Fair. I actually think it's a little bit too dark for me. I think I'm probably at 2. But I have the 3 and I do like it. I think it brightens up my face a little bit. It gives me like a little bit. It's very sheer coverage, so I think it's fine. I think 2 is probably the right shade. So I'll probably buy a 2 because I actually really like this foundation. I think it's a light coverage. I just think it looks really pretty on my skin. I think it evens everything out. I think it's great for the summer. It's like one of my favorites in the summer. But anyway, I really, really like it. So I wear 3, but I think I'm a 2. In the Flawless Filter, I do have 2 light. I actually think I need to be 1 Fair. So I think I'm a step up beyond where I should be in both the shades, but I do think when I bought them, it was the summer. And I actually do get a little bit deeper. I mean, like, not a lot, very little, because I don't go out in the sun. I wear SPF all the time. But even if you do that, I mean, you know, I do get a little bit, I guess, of sun. So anyway, yeah. So for those of you who are asking, the last time I did Charlotte Tilbury, I think those are my shades. Let me pull my hair back really quickly here, and I'm having difficulty keeping it back. It's just voluminous at this point. Anyway, so today we're gonna talk a little bit about the Flawless Eye Filter Luxury Palettes. So I did a video where I did the eyes of a star. I haven't done Star Aura or Diva Lights on camera. Today I'm gonna do Star Aura while we talk, and I'm gonna do a lot of swatches. So I mean a lot. I've pulled out a bunch of Tom Ford, Dior, Chanel, other Charlotte Tilburys, so you guys can see comparisons with these 3 and others. But there's a couple things that I want to talk about while I put this on. So this is Star Aura. This is the lightest of the Flawless Filter quads. And what I would say is a couple of things. One, recently Mel Thompson got some feedback from Charlotte Tilbury about how these are lighter in weight because of the formula of the eyeshadows, so that you're getting the same amount of product, is my understanding. They just weigh less. So you're talking about like weighing lettuce versus weighing, I don't know, meat. I'm looking for a good comparison. Anyway, the point is, it's the same amount of product, but it weighs less because the formula is different. This is the Star Aura. It's actually a really pretty quad. And again, I have a bunch of swatches that we're gonna do. So that's a good thing. That's a positive thing, if that is indeed the case. Let me bring you in a little bit. Let's go in with a Wayne Goss this is a number 4 brush. And I don't think Charlotte Tilbury is making that up. I think that's probably true. So these are all shimmery. I'm gonna go in with let's go in with this shade on the eyelid itself. So anyway, that's good. What I would say about these shadows is that they are not shades. When I did the Eyes of a Star and now when I'm doing Star Aura, I'm not going to tell you that these are like revolutionary shades, or that when you put them on the eye they look like nothing you've had, because that would not be true. There are other ones that I can absolutely say are similar in shade and quality. What I will say though is that I have noticed the more I've played with these, that they actually do look very nice on my eyes. And you know, why is that important? Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm 48 years old, so I do not have eyelids of a 20-year-old because I'm not 20. So it actually does make a difference, the formula of eyeshadows, because some eyeshadows don't, they're not friendly to a more mature eye. So I feel like I have to say I do like the formula. You know, I'm not saying that these are like the greatest thing ever. I'm saying, I'm gonna go with a mini booster. These are good. You know, just that simple. I'm gonna go with the shade that she calls, the one that she calls Smoke. Yeah, I actually think they look really nice. They go on beautifully. They blend. They can be built up. So for those of you who are saying that they're not, you know, super pigmented, that is true. They don't have a ton of pigment on the first pass, but you can actually build them up pretty well. Now, this particular quad, the Star Aura one, is much lighter. So, you know, there's only so much building you can do because the shades are light shades. I would say this is the one that if you're a very pale complexion, this is the best one for you. You'll see on my skin, I'm extremely pale, and it still, you know, stands out. So if you're looking for a quad that is a good neutral for every day, that isn't gonna be too pigmented, but you can build it up, I would actually recommend this. It's actually very pretty. Again, though, what I said before is it's not, you know, it depends on how much you have in your collection. Like, if you have a really extensive collection, I'm gonna go in with the Define shade, the very dark, well, the darker brown shade. If you have a really extensive collection where, you know, you have a ton of neutrals, you don't need this because you have it already. But if you don't have a ton in your collection and you don't have a lot of neutrals, maybe you're someone who plays with color a lot and you're looking for a good neutral quad, and you're looking for something that, you know, plays nice with older skin, this is actually a good choice. So I want to be careful how I phrase it because I don't want to come off as saying I don't like it, because I do, but it's just not, you know, it's not like, wow, I've never seen this before. I'm gonna go in with a number 3. This is a rougher brush, the darkest shade, just to line the lower lash line. So yeah, I just wanna, you know, I wanted to say that because I have been playing with these a little more, and I have to say, I actually do like them, and I think they look nice on the eye. Again, am I blown away? No. But do I think they're really pretty and they look nice? Yes. I think sometimes our expectations are, I think they can be a little out of whack, but I also think that has a lot to do with like the marketing of these things. With all these products, I was talking about it with Dior the other day. They were talking about how the cushion foundation basically will make you look 20. I mean, it's not what it said, but you know what I mean. It's like, okay, products can be excellent. We gotta be more reasonable about how we describe these things. I think the marketers have gone too far. There's also a new pencil, but it's not really new because I've had this for a while. This is her Charlotte Tilbury, I just call it a double-ended pencil, but I guess it's the Hollywood Exaggerize liner duo, and it's in like a champagne and a black. I really like this, and I've used it before. I thought I used it on the channel, but maybe I didn't. Here's the champagne and here's the black. I mean, it's a nice, it's like her double-ended liners, the super blue and the green and the maroon and the copper charge, like that. So I'm gonna use the champagne color in the inner corner here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It makes a really nice inner corner. You can see how pretty that, I'll bring you in closer, but you can see how pretty that is. And then you can use it in your lower inner lash line, but what I would say is you have to kind of work it a little. A kohl liner is going to work better for trying to do that. And then the black I'm going to use on the upper. I'm not going to use it, I'm going to do a fine line because I think this look that I'm doing is more of like a day look. Well, for me anyway, it's more of a day look. This is kind of what I'd wear to the office if I was going into my office. It's gonna be a while before I get to do that, but that's okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this first shade, this really light shade. I'm just gonna put it with my finger, and I'll bring you guys in close so you can see. See, it's a really pretty look, but it's not, you know, I mean, these are the shades. It's not like, wow, I've never seen that blue before. But again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on what you're looking for. You're looking for an everyday look? This is a great one. So let me buff it out a little bit while you can see it close up. Okay, you know, again, keeping it light. Let me put on a little bit of mascara. I'll curl my lashes, put on a little mascara, and then we'll get into all the swatches. Okay, we're back. We've got some mascara on, which always makes everything look better. And then Vive Liner in Bark and Super Nude Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, which is like one of my favorite shades of all time. So we've got the Star Aura on our arm right now. So of the other ones that I think you guys might like to see, First Frost was one that I thought, Tom Ford, that might be a good comparison. And now, do I think that they're gonna be similar? No, I think there's big differences, but I do think there's some similarities in the overall color story. So I wanted to show you what that looks like. First Frost is like one of my favorites from Tom Ford. Lately, Tom Ford seems to be doing a lot of re-promotes. I don't know what exactly is going on there. I am a big Tom Ford fan, so don't get me wrong. I'm just like waiting for something new. Hopefully the new ones that are coming out this year will be interesting. So here is, again, the Star Aura, and here's First Frost. You can see that the First Frost is definitely a cooler quad, and there are, like, this is a little bit more pink, this is more white than these two shades, and these are deeper in shade than two in the Star Aura. But there's a, you know, a similar color story going on there. But if I had to choose between the two, I will say I like the Tom Ford better. Of formulas, I think that's tough though, because actually the formulas are very similar. They have a light feel to them. They go on well, they blend, they are buildable. You know, it's that wet dry formula. I actually think they're kind of similar in formula, and I don't know if I could say necessarily that I like one so much more than the other. The other is the Soleil d'Hiver from the year before. This was 2019, and I will show you that one. So I would say, you know, if you're thinking about like the Tom Ford First Frost or the Charlotte Tilbury, First Frost is really a favorite. So I wouldn't say don't get that, because I really do like the First Frost. But I would say, you know, if you don't really have a preference, you could go on cost. I mean, that could be the, you know, deciding factor. I don't think the formula is that different. Okay, so here is, again, Star Aura, and here is d'Hiver, Soleil d'Hiver, and then here's First Frost. So between the d'Hiver and the Star Aura, I think there's actually more similarities, although I would still say that these shades, these two shades and these two shades are relatively similar. But this brown and this brown, this has definitely got more shimmer to it, and this shade, this is like a cooler browner shade. This is more of a copper in the Star Aura. But there, you can see similar color stories, and I think would look similar on the eye. I have not done a direct comparison, so, but I think you know, they're going to be close. Nude Dip, I think, is going to be much cooler. We can take a look at it. Nude Dip is also one of my favorites from Tom Ford. I love a good neutral, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I have a very, 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 very colorful look coming up soon in a collab that I'm doing. I'm very excited about it, but it is way outside my comfort zone. I still don't know how I'm gonna do it, to be honest with you. I don't think it's gonna end up great, but that's kind of the point, right? Go outside your comfort zone. Okay, so again, here's the Star Aura, here's the Soleil d'Hiver, here's First Frost, and here is Nude Dip. You can see Nude Dip is a much cooler story than any of these. I think it probably has most in common with First Frost, but Nude Dip is just, I think, a beautiful, it's probably I don't know if it's my favorite Tom Ford, but it's close. I have to do a ranking of my Tom Fords pretty soon, but anyway. Okay, so Dior. So Dior, the ones that I thought would probably be the best were Nude Dress. I think that's probably the closest. And then maybe Mitza. But I think Mitza's gonna look more like the Eyes of a Star, so I'll save that one for Eyes of the Star when I put that up in a second. So let's do Nude Dress and see what we think. Now, of course, there are 5 shades, so there's gonna be more shades, but you can still get a feel. Now, you guys know I love the Dior formula. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great for mature eyes. If I had to choose between Dior and Tom Ford, I would pick Dior at this point. The new quads, not the trios. Just making that clear. Although I have to tell you, I am a big Tom Ford fan, so it's not like I'm saying Tom Ford is bad. I'm just saying if I had to choose, if you made me choose between them. Okay, so here is Nude Dress. I think you can see Nude Dress has some similarities between Star Aura, but I think it's a more diverse actual palette. Like this one has more similarities. I think it's a little bit more matte too because it's got this matte shade in it. These are shimmers and this is more of a topper. So, I mean, I think these shades are similar, again, similar color story, but I think the two that are probably the closest, Star Aura and Diva, are the Tom Ford at the moment. And there's a Chanel quad that I wanted to show you in comparison to this one too. This is Elemental. And this one I think is gonna be like pinkier, but I wanted to put it up here just so we could, just take a look, see what we think. And I think it's definitely more matte, but let's look. I promised you lots of swatches, I'm getting lots of swatches. Running out of room. Yeah, Elemental is definitely like a cooler, pinkier shade than I think the others. That's it for Star Aura. Don't get me wrong, I think there's other shades that I could dupe them with or come close to in like my big palettes, but like for the quads that I have, those are the ones that stood out. Don't get me wrong, I have a lot of Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, Sydney Grace, where I'm sure I could pull out shades and find them. I also thought of the Wayne Goss one. That probably has some similar shades. So, like I said, these aren't shades that you don't have in your collection. That's what I was trying to say before. Like, I really like it. I think it's really pretty, but I do think they exist. I do like the formula. I have to be honest. I think it's good. But I do want to call out Eyes of a Star and a couple of comparisons to that one. And then I will swatch as well Diva Lights, which I have not done a video on yet, on my eyes. And I will do that, I promise, coming up. But, keep running out of time. Okay, so let's do Eyes of a Star. I will swatch it on this arm. I really like this quad. I think it's really pretty. It's very warm toned, but again, I think it looks really nice on. Blended out beautifully. Really, really like that color story. So let's compare it to Tom Ford's Suspicion, which is definitely a warm quad as well, and one of my favorite Tom Fords. I know I keep saying that, but it actually is. Any of you picking up any of the Tom Ford repromotes? Like the body heat is coming in pink packaging and red packaging. I actually don't have body heat, which is weird, but I don't, so I might pick it up. All right, so that's body heat. You can see they are similar color stories. The Suspicion is all, I think, has more shimmer to it than the Charlotte Tilbury. Eyes of a Star, I also think this is like a lighter goldy shade, more champagne. This is more gold. But I do think they are similar color stories. So if you like Suspicion, Eyes of a Star will be a good choice for you. I actually think on the eye, the Eyes of a Star actually looked a little better on my skin. So again, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying that the Tom Ford isn't as good. I'm just saying this formula actually does look really nice on the eyelid on a more mature skin, and over time, it looked really nice. Now, I have very dry skin and very dry eyelids, so I don't have oils. So my oils I don't break down pigment on my eyelids. It stays on for a really long time, anything you put on my eyelids. So you should take that into account. But I have to say, a couple hours afterwards, it was similar to like the Dior's, where it looked really nice. It almost like it melted in a good way, if that makes any sense at all. Let's do Mitza, just so you can see it, because Mitza is also a warmer tone. Of course, it's Christian Dior. Mitza is one of my favorites. I keep saying that, but it's a really pretty quint. It has a really unique like reddish shade in the middle, which of course the Eyes of a Star does not have. I will put that on last so you can kind of see it, but you can see just from the 4 shades, right? This is Eyes of a Star, here's Suspicion, and then here is Mitza. If you just looked at the 4 shades, you'd say it's a very similar quint as Star Aura. Now when you add the last shade, it changes it quite a bit, because this is like a burgundy, which doesn't exist in any of these others, which is one of the reasons that Mitza is so unique in my opinion. Okay, so let's also swatch the Harper Charge by Charlotte Tilbury. I'm not gonna say this is one of my favorites again, but I have to say I really do like Harper Charge. I think it's a really pretty quint, and it was the quint that got me back into Charlotte Tilbury quads, because her eyeshadows, and I've said this before, so this is not me just saying this now, I was not impressed by her eyeshadows in the beginning. I was always kind of like, they're fine, they're okay. And then Copper Charge and the Rebel Green, something like that, were the ones that I was like, oh, okay, these are good. And the formulas are excellent. So this really is one of my favorites by Charlotte Tilbury. So this is Copper Charge. You can see it's very coppery compared to Star Aura, which is more of like a warm toned, yes, it's coppery and golds and browns, but the Copper Charge is definitely copper. So I think it looks more like Suspicion, but again, Suspicion is more gold toned and more like it's got some copper undertones, but it's more gold toned, where copper is truly copper. And it looks, you know, definitely more copper reddish than the others. Okay, Last but not least, I will also swatch for you the Diva Lights so you can just see it, and I promise I will be coming up with a dedicated video to it as an eye look. Don't necessarily have to do a tutorial, or I can do a tutorial. You guys let me know what you'd like. I could just wear it in a video where I'm, you know, talking about like my will I buy it's or something like that. Let me know your thoughts. But I think it is more, it's more different, diverse, whatever you want to say, than the others, because you have this gold, copper, and then this like shimmery brown, and then a matte black, which really doesn't exist in any of these other quads, quints that I've mentioned today. Like I said, I can find the shades somewhere in my collection. I just don't have it in a quad or a quint. So with all of those swatches, let me know if there are others. If there's ones that you know, come to you the top of your head and you're like, oh, you should compare it to this, and I haven't done it, let me know, because I'll certainly try to pull those out if I have them. Overall though, my thoughts, I like the formula. You know, I like it more than when I first tried them, which is why it's important to keep trying these things and get your, you know, thoughts as you wear them more often. They really do look nice on the eye. They wear well, they blend well, they look really pretty. The color story is kind of a color story I like. I mean, yes, they're absolutely neutrals. Obviously, Star Aura is lighter and more neutral than Eyes of a Star. Eyes of a Star is definitely, you know, warmer. And then Diva Lights is more diverse, I guess the word is. You know, it's got more options. Star Aura that I have on my eyes today is definitely very neutral, and although you can build it, it's not an overly pigmented quad, so you're gonna want, you know, you're gonna get more of that wash of color, and then you can build it up. So it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on what you like. I would say these are more like the Tom Ford. You can see a lot of Tom Ford here. More like the Tom Ford formula. And they feel like that on the eye. They perform like that. I do like them, and I think they're good. So in that sense, you know, I think they're really nice. Whether or not you need them depends on what you have in your collection and you know, what you want to spend your money on. But I do think they look nice on a more mature eye. I do think they wear well, and I do like the color stories for a neutral palette. So that's just me. Yeah, all right, so that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Like I said, if there's other palettes or other things you want to see them swatched against, just let me know and I'll pull them out if I can. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.